Hello, welcome to our podcast, episode 97 on Ruby. So, I'm finally gonna properly talk about Ruby. I did kind of mention like the Rooster Teeth one, but I want to properly, talk about, the, you know, 9 volumes so far. Um, I guess I could also mention Ice Queendom, although I haven't, properly seen it. Like I relatively know, the story of it, um, but um, didn't, properly watch it because it was like on Crunchyroll. Has it now gone on Rooster Teeth? I'm uncertain. I probably should have, checked. Anyway, and I guess I'll also mention RWBY games since, I've played 2 of the RWBY games. So um, yeah. So this one will definitely be a lot more comprehensive than, what I probably mentioned in, the Rooster Teeth one. So yeah, there's some stuff will probably, be stuff I already said, repeated, but some of it will be new. So yeah, stick around for, the new stuff. But yeah, let's first talk about the show before I get into any of the extra stuff that I've played or, watched or, kind of watched but didn't watch. Oh yeah, there's Fairy Tales as well. I watched that because yeah, and World of Remnants. Yeah, that one doesn't really have a lot to it, but I'll talk about each thing when I get to it. Um, let's just talk about the main show. So, um, yeah, again, I'm pretty certain I've said this story, but I'm going to say again just for the people that haven't heard it. Even though this will most likely be a repeat, but you know, uh, of what I said before. But so when I got into Ruby, it was when Volume 6 was releasing. Um, I literally like watched the like I got right to the end of Volume 6, right on the day that the last episode of episode 6 released. It was basically the perfect time to get into it, because I was able to absorb all uh, you know 6 volumes basically over the span of a couple of days, like a week. So yeah, like like so that would begin, my investment in, Ruby. So, when I initially watched it, since I watched it all in, one go, I was basically, interested start to end, I didn't really realize, the flaws of 4 and 5 and you know 6, till later, till thinking about yeah, these are kind of unimportant. I mean, stuff happens, but yeah. Hey, Counter Strike's installed. Woohoo! So I'm installing Counter Strike Source because I need it for Gmod. Um, but yeah, um, uh, yeah, so yeah, I watched them all basically over the course of a few days. So yeah, the flaws of those, you know, won't be, apparent until, reflecting on it, later. You know, I still relatively like them, just, you know, but, I can understand their flaws now. Um, so eventually, I'd be waiting for, 7 and, watch 7 all the way through, and that was really good. And then 8 kind of, when 8 came out, that kind of ruined things, kind of, you know, because, after how good 7 was, like I really liked 7, you know, the direction they went with certain characters seemed dumb, especially Ironwood. Especially Ironwood. So yeah, quite, I was quite, not happy, you know, that, Ironwood was wrecked because, because, yeah, I I wish, Ironwood could actually, stayed a good character, but the rise ruined that. But yeah, and then we get to Volume 9, which was actually just probably filler. Like, literally nothing that, you know, progressed the actual main plot, Nothing to actually, potentially, you know, you know, um, you know, um, you know, move things along. So, yeah, like, currently as it stands, RWBY's, been going on the downhill. I mean, that's been the same for Rooster Teeth, they went way downhill, and, uh, I'm surprised they're still around after everything. But yeah, um, yeah, it's quite a surprise, But yeah, I like RWBY, and I'll probably still potentially, watch it. Just, I don't even know if it'll, end before, Rooster Teeth falls apart, if they do fall apart. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm really hoping, you know, RWBY does get complete, but I don't know. So yeah, the show's kind of a mess. One of the only good things from the show is like the music, at this point, and that's about it. You know, you know, for what's, good at this point. Like, most of the characters have kind of been muddied up, and like they all sort of are the same now. Like, like, you know, despite, they still kind of have some of the character in them. Like, they're basically blobs for, they're blobs for the story at this point, Um, yeah. So yeah, the show is, uh, But yeah, that's for the show. As for the additional shows around it, like Wild of Remnants, that one's okay, but I mean, I guess it's useful for helping, understand the lore if you want to know the lore a bit more, but otherwise it's, you know, uh, not really necessary to watch. Um, Fairy tales is also not really necessary, like, to watch, like, because, you know, it doesn't really add much. The only thing it really adds is more backstory to Salem, like seeing more of, what happened to Salem, you know. Otherwise, you could probably skip like 90% of it except like the Salem episode, you know, like, because it's not really important at all. As for Ice Queen, well, that's, technically a whole, different thing, Ice Queen's, its own separate thing basically. And you honestly could probably, skip it. Like, I mean, the whole, in a dream thing that's being perversed by like a Grimm. I mean, it's slightly interesting, but it's kind of been done before, So yeah, yeah, like you can skip that as well. So yeah, none of the shows are, particularly great. Like they're all kind of like honestly, a bad thing to watch would be like, you know, like 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 parodies, like the Ruby abridged, like which there's like two different versions. There's the one done by I forget their name, but they completed it technically. You know, um, technically, like they didn't, go into like the future volumes, but they did complete um, like one volume or two or three. I don't know how many, but they did technically complete it. As for the other Ruby abridged by, um, uh, I think it was Ruby Productions, but now they're stopped. Last I checked, like they're no more, which is kind of sad. But I guess it happens, meaning the series will never be um, fully complete. But yeah, it was good while it lasted, but kind of a shame that it stopped. So yeah, yeah, like Ruby parodies are good, but you know, they only can fill the void so much. Um, so yeah, those are the shows. Now for the games, which yeah, again I've only played two of them, so I only talk about the two that I've played. So one is Amity Arena. It's gone, by the way. Another thing that is basically gone. to win. It was basically like you have these cards that could spawn in like things, and you have like an energy thing that that can control the spawns of enemies. So it was basically like fight against the other person's base and try to win. So you have to use the cards wisely to try and beat the opponent. But since there was like pay to play, like pay to win, elements, not pay to play, um, um, pay to win elements. Obviously, sometimes it would divulge into the other person having a lot more powerful units than you. So yeah, kind of sucks. You know, like I definitely think there was potential for the game, but you know, as just like a small, mini game, sort of thing. But it kind of sucks. I mean, you have to have like some way of earning money, but yeah, it kind of sucks. So yeah, like yeah, but yeah. On the other hand, there's a Ruby Grim Eclipse, which is pretty cool. Um, I, played it through to completion. The final boss is quite hard. Um, um, so yeah, played it through to um, completion. Played it once as Michael, and I've also played it with like some friends once. So yeah, it's a pretty good game. Like, and I guess it has a decent enough story. Like the mad scientist Merlo or something, Merlot, something like that. Yeah. So yeah, but overall, Ruby is it's kind of dying out, and my interest in the series has gone down over time. Like it, it peaked at the beginning, like since I was younger back then, because like when did Volume 6 release? Because I was definitely younger then. How young was I? When did that release? Oh, I haven't even spoken about Ruby Chibi. Oh my god, I almost forgot. Don't worry, you don't need to crucify me. I almost forgot about Ruby Chibi. Um, God damn. Okay, Ruby Chibi is good. Actually good. Like the 3.5 seasons, because I do not count season 4 as a full season, because like there were 10 skits, I think, not episodes. They, you could hardly call them episodes. Like It was like 10 skits, like, and that's it. You could hardly call them episodes, like, you know, there'd be always, a few skits in an episode. So basically, like, those episodes would have been like equivalent to like, you know, like potentially like 3 episodes, like I'm just trying to do the math, like 2 to 3, you know, like episodes. So yeah, 4th season was not, really a season, but yeah, Chibi's actually good. Like one of the other highlights, which I also probably, watched, probably like right after, so yeah, like once I learned of Chibi, that was probably, yeah, I probably watched that, you know, the 3 seasons of that, probably in between volume 6 and 7. So yeah, yeah, RWBY definitely peaked when I began watching it, but then it faded off, But 2018, I believe, was when, yeah, 2018 was when it started. Damn. And premiered on October, meaning if the episodes were releasing weekly, which I would assume would be the case, that means it would have been like January or I'm just trying to do the math. It would have been either January or February of 2019 when I actually saw the episode. Like, because, yeah, 27, but is that, the question is that, the public release or just the airing release? I'm gonna assume it was the airing release, meaning it was probably, gated behind, Rooster Teeth, plus or whatever the hell it is, the subscription thing. So yeah, that means most likely it would have been February of 2019. Damn, that's crazy. I would not have thought it would have been 2019. It feels like longer ago. But either way, I would have been, turning 17 in 2019. So, damn. I thought I watched a lot longer ago. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, yeah. So it all started good, but then is a perfect summary of RWBY. It started good, but then it all falls apart. You know, literally the lyrics of one of the songs. So yeah, yeah. Not a lot of positivity left for RWBY after all this time. Like, like I even bought like the RWBY book thing. Like I have that in my room. Like, and now it's just something that sits on the shelf. I mean, I can always look at it again, but you know, it's just it'll remind me of the depressing state of RWBY, because that was bought when it was good, or at least good to me, you know, but now time has faded, and yeah, I can't believe it was 2019 that I started watching it. Feels like it should have been longer ago, but I guess time hasn't exactly been you know the most straightforward after the last few years. Not to mention, again, I've mentioned this multiple times, but my 2019 wasn't a cakewalk. Changed 5 subjects and lost my cat. Not a great year. So yeah, kind of being a bad you know last 5 years, because 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. So yeah, 5. So let's hope for good 2024. I know this video will come out in 2024, April, I believe. So at time of recording this, it's still 2023. um, but I can hope and hope that's actual reality by the point I get there. you know. But yeah, um, yeah, that'll be it for this one. Seeing I don't really have anything else to talk about it, so yeah. I guess I shall end this. So yeah, thank you all for watching the R podcast, and peace until next time.